Superman movie has been announced. It's been filming it, and after seeing it at the early fan screening for Amazon members, and now taking a day to kind of process my thoughts about this movie, I'm going to give you my general thoughts, my general view. Just a quick and simple thing. I'll do a more in-depth review on the spoiler review when the movie drops on Friday. So just going to be my quick thoughts, what I overall think of the movie, how I feel, and what I am looking forward to for James Gunn for the DCU. So, David Cornsweet Superman. We have come a long way since when this movie was first announced and we were speculating who would be playing who. And from the first leaked image of his suit, you can see in this picture, to not having the greatest reviews. I wasn't gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of it either. To the set photos where his suit looked amazing, and I loved his suit even more, and it had a real cape in a lot of the set photos we saw. To now seeing it in this movie, David Cornsweet is Superman. David Cornsweet's portrayal of Superman is hands down one of the best portrayals of Superman I've probably ever seen. He has this real hopeful, overall tone, but he's not super campy, like how Christopher Reeves was, and the whole, saying the random statistics and things like that. It has that hopeful joy vibe, but still having a little bit of seriousness to him. And you can tell that this is Superman has not been a superhero for that long, and I like that element. This is Superman in the beginning of his career. He's only been a Superman for 3 years. But David Cornsweet, it feels like he is Superman. Literally, he is born to play Superman. His portrayal of Superman, like I said, it's probably one of the best, and I have just much praise for him. I am so excited to see David Cornsweet going forward playing Superman. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Just to talk about the actors in the portrayal, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is probably one of the best, or if not the best, portrayal of Lex Luthor I've ever seen. It is straight out of the comic book. The way his facial expressions are, the way he talks, the way he acts, he feels like Lex Luthor. And the relationship between Superman and Lex Luthor in this movie is as perfect as you could probably get, in my personal opinion. And then the connection between Lois Lane and Superman and Clark Kent in this movie, James Gunn did perfectly. David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, I don't know if I said her last name right, their chemistry in this movie is the best. And her portrayal of Lois Lane is, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's the best portrayal of Lois Lane we've seen since the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. The humor isn't too bad. It does have, the humor's not bad. There are some jokes that are good. This, in my opinion, it feels like a comic book come to life, which I'll get back into some of the negatives. And for me, I personally like that. I like it when they embrace that fantastical, the comic book stuff, because it's that's what you want. That's where you started with these characters is in the comics, and now they're put on the big screen. And I feel like James Gunn captured that with the environment of Metropolis and that environment perfectly. The cinematography in this movie is probably some of the best I've seen. There's certain scenes where you see Superman just from an action shot, and you feel hopeful watching this. I didn't want the movie to end. Obviously, it had to. But then you get the action scenes. The action's good. The camera angles for flying scenes. I can see that they had that went for that Top Gun Maverick and the Top Gun movie look with it. When you see David Cornsweet flying in a Superman suit, the suit looks good. David Cornsweet looks good. There are some moments where the effects are a little wonky or a little iffy, but for the overall most part, the VFX, the CGI, everything looks good. I'm not sure if they did any practical effects. I would have to look at that. Look at the history of the filming and everything like that. but how much this movie has had happen. This is what we wanted from a Superman movie. And then the biggest thing I was concerned about was that Superman was going to feel like a side character with all the characters in this movie. That is not the case. Superman is front and center. And it's like, we're right there. Superman is the main character. You feel it throughout the whole movie. This is a Superman movie. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner feels like straight out of the comic books. Nathan Fillion was perfect for Guy Gardner. The actor that played him is terrific. I forgot his name. Obai Inuai. I forgot what his name, but he played Darwin in X-Men First Class, where he was only in there for like 20 minutes. But Mr. Terrific was probably one of the biggest highlights for this movie. And I was so curious and so interested in how he was going to be portrayed. And he is like literally one of my favorite characters from this movie. There is a fight scene with him and it is awesome. Isabel Merced kind of got the short end of the stick with some of it, but she still played a good hot girl. I'm not sure if it's the Kendra Saunders or the Shara Hall hot girl she's portraying. I'm not 100% sure. You could tell I'm a comic book fan. And then the way they did Metamorpho, I felt worked. At first, I was scared he was going to be like just a one-off and then poof, he's gone. But no, he was in there for a good amount of the movie. Jimmy Olsen was good. Eve Tessmacher was hilarious. But the relationships between all the characters blended very well. The plot, I felt, was good. We'll get more into that in the spoiler review. Now, we are going to talk about some of the negatives that I do see coming from some of this. The whole thing about it feeling like a comic brought to life. If you're a comic book fan and you know this stuff, this is the movie for you and this is going to be good. If you are just a casual person, you just like Superman, doesn't read comics or anything like that, you might want to do some homework. If you're like me and you already knew the characters, the backstories about Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, and Hot Girl, then you're fine. You're going to love this movie. But for the casual people, you might want to do some history on some of these characters, what they are, their origins, their powers. Some of the jokes don't land, but other than that, the jokes aren't, they're pretty good. They work. The one thing I do want to point out is with how much is in this movie with the plot, there are some things that feel it's like crowded. And that was one of my concerns. Like Ultraman's reveal should have been bigger than what it actually was. His reveal was just kind of, no one really questioned who he was throughout the entire movie. It's just like, so he's just there. Okay. The emotional scenes with Ma and Pa Kent, especially with Pa Kent, there's one scene in there that really tries to tug at you. The emotional scenes, I feel like they were good. They could have let it linger just a little bit. Just kind of focus more on it. Because then it followed up with something serious, which I didn't mind. But if you just kind of let the emotional scenes just kind of sit for a minute, it probably would have they hit good, but it probably would have hit even better. So, with those little nitpicks and stuff, like not a lot of negatives. My personal opinion, I think this is not going to be super decisive. I think there's going to be clear, people love it, people just don't, or just weren't big fans of it. I don't think anyone, from what I've seen, there's like one review I've seen where someone truly didn't like it. But I think the consensus is going to be that this movie is really good. My personal opinion, this is probably my best Superman movie I've seen, my favorite Superman movie I've seen. But I've also grown up thinking Superman was just a little bit boring. So I saw Man of Steel and I played that movie nonstop. And that movie is what really got me into Superman. But like I said, there are also some scenes where the CGI is the effects are a little off, but it's not as bad as some other movies from now. It is a movie where you do feel like like I said, there is a lot in it. Some aspects feel rushed, some don't. And I think that's where the comic book feel is going to kind of not appease some people because like we focus on this one thing, then it jumps to this, then it jumps to this, and then it jumps to this. Like a comic book panel. And I think some people are not gonna like that. Some people will, some people won't. Comic book fans are gonna love it. I'm trying to think. Other than that, I really feel like this was the way the DCU should start. And I am hopeful now. Now, if this was the perfect start, in my opinion. This is the start of the DCU. I'm excited for what James Gunn has coming. Yes, there are some moments where the jokes don't hit. You can tell it's a kind of a James Gunn movie. It kind of has that feel. But David Cornsweet is the big draw, and he is the reason, in my opinion, the main reason why this movie is going to do very well. He is one of the main reasons why I love this movie. His portrayal of Superman, like I said, was hands down one of the best. But if you don't like comics, you might not want to watch this. If you do, go watch this movie. Now, let's see exactly what, I'm pretty sure this Cinemonster, he changes his name a lot. I think he approved this movie. Let me ask him. You approve it? He approves the movie. And you can't really tell. He has a straight face the entire time, but he approves the movie. But if I were to kind of give this movie a rating, I give it 8 out of 10. Very solid, very good movie. I came out that theater ecstatic. The way I feel leaving versus the day after is still the same. And I am gonna go see it again. I really am. Just to kind of get more of it. But I want to know what your thoughts are about this movie. And kind of let me know what you think, what you did, what you didn't like. And when that spoiler review, we're going to talk about some stuff. Also, there is 2 credit scenes. They're just fun. They're nothing any serious that's going to continue the story anymore. You can stay from if you want. If you don't, it's not a big deal. You're not really missing on anything. It's just something fun, which I'm fine with because we're starting a new universe. You don't really need a big post-credit scene. But with all that being said, make sure you like the video, you comment, do all that YouTube stuff. And then, just get out of here, please. I have top secret information to attend to, and you cannot see this. So leave. Like now.